of labour briefing.
We've got people power and we intend to use it, and we should do that every time somebody gets an eviction notice because they can't pay their rent due to the benefit funds. And if we did that, then the government would shit themselves.
Up and down across Scotland, there has been hundreds of local meetings attended by thousands of ordinary working class people affected by the bedroom tax and the government's attacks. The feeling in the meetings has been that the bedroom tax is a step too far. It's a line in the sand for the mass of ordinary people who are already facing cuts to their services, cuts to their benefits, demonisation of the media, and what is really inspiring is that people are deciding to do something about it, and there's a feeling that we can win, and there's a feeling that if we stand together we can take on the Tories. And our motto is, if you stand by me, I'll stand by you, and together we can stop the Tory attacks. And I think that feeling is replicated here today in this room.
We decided that there really was a serious attempt that we needed to start to build up a massive campaign nationally to oppose not just the bedroom tax but the whole raft of benefit tax that have been coming in and have been phased in from April the 1st this year. And it's not just many individuals from around the country that have made the effort and got here today, but people representing quite substantial groups. Not just of groups like DPAC, but also of groups that have sprung up particularly in towns and cities around the country to build organisations against the bedroom tax and other benefit changes. So fantastic, and welcome everybody here today.
I apologise, I've got to go after speaking. I'm going down to Brighton, where we've got an LRC meeting and we're supporting the dustmen who have been occupying. People know why this is happening. It happens in every recession. When they don't want to blame the system, when they don't want to blame the real people who caused this crisis, they'll always find a scapegoat. And it starts off with people in poverty, the ones who are most defenceless, those on benefits. And then it moves on to migrants, and that's what we're seeing now. The key thing for this period now is, first of all, to make sure that we put some lines of defence for people. Yes, it does mean, in terms of the bedroom tax, giving advice, assistance and representation, but recognising also that we want councils to ensure that they're doing their job as well. That's why we're demanding Labour councils, no eviction. The very people who are administering these taxes have been attacked themselves. As has been said, PCS members in the job centres are being savaged at the moment in terms of privatisation and another round of job cuts. In local government now, the comprehensive spending review in June will launch another wave of job cuts in local government. So the key issue, as the Chair has said, is linking benefit claimants with benefit payers, with the workers, with the wider community. Every one of these struggles is all of our struggles. And that means linking the direct action of DPAC and every other organisation with the industrial action that will need to take place as well. We need a commitment from the Labour Party that the bedroom tax will be scrapped. Yeah. We need a commitment. We will be building council houses again on a massive scale. We need a commitment that all the privatisation will be reversed and there will be renationalisation of those things that have been sold off. And above all else, we want a commitment that people will be able to have a living wage whether they're in work or not, so they're lifted out of poverty. Everybody. I give you this commitment. Whether it's in Parliament, whether it's in the picket line, or occupations or demonstrations, I'll be with you. Solidarity.
As the Welsh Tenants Federation, we're an organisation that represents 320 tenant resident groups across Wales and federations. Wrexham and Cardiff Federation, very old federations in Wales, and traditionally worked well with England in the past. But since devolution, I think we've sort of drifted apart in terms of the tenant movement, but we're happy to realign ourselves and get back involved with issues in England. In Wales, £1 billion will be taken out of the Welsh economy from the poorest people, those working on low incomes and those unemployed, those disabled, those sick, those families, the single parents that are unable to find work or, as I said, through illness. What we're doing in Wales is we're trying to organise groups to get involved. Cardiff, my colleague, one of my colleagues here from Cardiff today, who's doing some tremendous work in Cardiff to try to get groups in Cardiff together, because we do need campaigning on the ground.
The public purse loses £125 billion a year as a result of tax avoidance and tax evasion of the super rich. Look at the record profit yields of all the major companies. Look at the obscene profits of the supermarkets and the energy cartel. Look at the fact that since the crash, the 1,000 richest people in Britain today have seen their wealth, their already monumental wealth, increase by £180 billion, which is enough to pay off the entire UK budget deficit, and that super rich to still pocket 40 to 50 billion pounds themselves. And at the same time, talk about a tale of two worlds and two cities. In those shameful few days in April, we saw the biggest assault on the conditions and benefits system that we've seen in living memory. And it shows again, it's up there with let them eat cake. It exposes Osborne's claim of us all being in this together as one of the most fraudulent claims ever made by a British politician in our history. This is a lesson to be learned not just by PCS, but by other public sector workers as well, because there is no respite. We need coordinated action, not just amongst public sector workers. We need, yes, a day of action, and yes, a general strike as part of a sustained programme of affirmative action. Amidst all of the terrible eulogies to Thatcher, there's one important observation missed out in most of the media coverage, and that is that Thatcher wasn't defeated by some in-house coup of Tory MPs. Thatcher was defeated by a mass campaign of opposition to the poll tax. This is about linking the industrial struggle to the direct action, the community protests and the mass movement we need to defend the poorest and vulnerable, to challenge this government and yes, to pose the question, we believe here another world really is possible. Thanks very much for listening.
People who need social care and support are in for a bleak future. Watch out for premature deaths as premature deaths occur, as people's manageable conditions become unmanageable. Despite the efforts of the Covenants to drive us back to the 1920s, there is a fight back. Trade union and community activists are resisting and fighting against the onslaught of cuts. Shop stewards are defending disabled members' jobs. Reps are fighting for reasonable adjustment to disabled workers, and we're securing better workplace policies in areas such as brilliant arrangement and disability leave. Groups like DPAC are at the forefront of the fight against austerity. They are publicly shaming ASOS up and down the country, proving we're no longer unseen, unheard individuals, but are forcing their own rights. Yet more importantly, DPAC is politicising disabled people. And once politicised, there's no going back to dream weaving in lonely rooms for us. Thank you, solidarity.
Imagine now you're a classroom teacher anywhere in London today. What are you worried about? Right? Why hasn't Johnny turned up for school for 8 weeks? Because his family were sanctioned and the sole fell off his shoes, so he cannot come. That's what you're worried about. Why did Annie faint today in the middle of maths class? Because she hasn't eaten for over 24 hours. And that's what you, as a classroom teacher, are worried about. And anecdotally, we are getting these stories. I work in the Department of Education at a university, and I can tell you, from every school in London, this this is what we are hearing, that the austerity is so bad, that the cutbacks are so severe, that there is not a classroom in South East London that is not being affected by hungry children, fainting children, children not attending because they do not have clothes and shoes. This is not Dickensian Britain. This is Britain today.
There's so many myths. I mean, this government's attempt to introduce a division based on we will cut benefits to make work pay. No, make sure people are paid properly. That's how you make work pay. When we just start getting on our soapboxes and talking about let's make those people at the top pay their taxes, they call that the politics of envy. As my convoy would say to me, when he says to me, no, that's the politics of necessity, because that's what it is. This is the politics of necessity. And why do we stop? We need the PCS and their approach to how we change this country for the better. We agree that it takes direct action, and that's why I'm really, really pleased, because we've been talking about it for a period of time now, but I can actually confirm that this week at our executive, we start consulting with our members to get them to support the call for a general strike and bring this government down, because that's what we need to do. Government either. We want a government that's going to make sure that it represents the people of this country, because that's what we're entitled to, that's what we have a right to. So I would just say, let's continue the fight, let's make sure we go up there and smash the mess, let's join together, let's start marching together, let's fight together, solidarity.
It's a fantastic privilege for me to be able to introduce to you someone who's involved in the anti-eviction movement in Spain, where we're not alone. We have people in right across Europe who are facing the same attacks we're doing. And as we've seen on our TV screens and our papers, they're putting forward incredibly fightbacks, and Spain has been very much at the forefront among that.
In fact, currently there are more than 130 platforms in the main cities of Spain, and there have been stopped 615 evictions since 200. So it proved that it's possible to fight, to stop the eviction and to win. It's very positive because it means that the working class can defend himself from the attacks, and that can occupy and obtain their own right to housing.
It escalated very quickly. We didn't know at Christmas time last year where we would be living and even if we would actually be together. That's where the fight started, because we thought we're not the only family being faced with eviction. There are so many other families that are being affected by this because of the cuts. So we started to have protests. We're now banned from Brent Town Hall as well. We've actually been given another eviction date, the 27th of May, which is just in 2 weeks' time. So we don't know what's going to be happening now in terms of foster care that they have been threatening with us for a year. But we are going to keep fighting. We believe that we can achieve our fight back if we all come together and believe that we can. We do know it's hard to come forward and fight. We have had racial abuse. People say that they hope we get thrown out on the street, calling us travellers. You know, you do get abuse for coming forward, but we believe that if there is enough of us, we can really change something. So, you know, try and speak to us afterwards. We've got our Twitter and Facebook pages, and we want to help people. We've helped a few families with their evictions, and we want to keep going, and we're not going to go. So.
Situation. My mum and her generation survived World War II by rationing drastically food and heating to survive. That's what people in our situation have to do. This government has declared war on its own people.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see in my lifetime any legislation worse than the poll tax. Bedroom tax to me is the most nastiest, evil and vicious legislation. People can't pay. To coin a phrase, the lady's not for turning. Well, this lady's not for turning either.
I think that what they are doing to asylum seekers in this country, that's what they've tested with asylum seekers. They've put them on food vouchers, they've put them having no rights for their accommodation, for living. I have family in London, but I'm not allowed to live in London because I'm an asylum seeker and I have to be based in Manchester. So they've tested with asylum seekers, and that's what they're going to test with the rest of the people in this country. So it's not a fight for asylum seeker or for immigrants or for citizens. It's a fight for all of us, and we should stand together and help them.
If you look at what happened since Christmas, remember Lewisham, when they attacked Lewisham Hospital, when they said they were going to close it, 25,000 people marched in Lewisham. A few weeks ago, in Stafford, I don't know if anybody's ever been to Stafford, but it's a one-horse town, 30,000 people demonstrated in Stafford. The week before, they introduced the bedroom tax. 50 cities and towns up and down the country saw demonstrations against the bedroom tax. 8 to 10,000 in Glasgow, right? Their side is weak, their side is in crisis, our side is angry, and our side is fighting back. And it's fantastic to see that in the room today. The anger that's expressed in the room today is absolutely righteous, and I think it is shared by not tens of thousands, but millions of people up and down the country. And I think we have a crucial task in front of us in the coming months. What we have to do is we have to unite the anger, because united we will be a force that is unstoppable. And one thing that we must not do today is we must not leave this hall without saying that we are going to organise ourselves. In some way, shape or form, we are going to come together out of this conference to form a force in British society that will smash the bastards.
Yeah. Labour, Green, Tory, Liberal, these councils, what are they going to do? Are they going to, they can pontificate about how they feel about the tax and criticise the Tory government, but are they going to be evicting people when it comes to the crunch? Are they going to be taking people out of the homes, charging the most vulnerable people the bedroom tax? And that's the key thing that we have to say. A lot of councils have signed up to say they're not going to evict people on the basis of the bedroom tax. And there's a huge number of support and interest in people affected by the bedroom tax, not just fighting the cut, but also standing against these councillors and councils that are trying to evict them. We need a huge number of anti-bedroom tax candidates in the next elections.
We refuse to be victims under these Tory monsters. I mean, we have to say, you're not having our babies' bedrooms, really, that's it. The councils will have to make a decision. Are they with the people or are they with the Tories and the corporates? Let's face it, if you're in a dilemma, you take sides. They must take sides. This is all the demands that are coming out of Leeds.
And that includes the incredibly wicked start that legal aid is no longer available to help people with welfare benefits.
We ended up with our demonstration on the 20th of April was more than 1,000 people. You can't imagine what we felt like in Leeds.
We've brought a United Their campaign that brings all of our forces together and avoids any division, whether that be on race, whether it be on disability, whether that be on religion, whether it be on age, whether it be on any other of the processes, or whether we're British or migrant workers. We have to stand united and oppose any attempt to separate us. And to see if we can actually set up a national federation of anti-bedroom tax and anti-welfare benefit cuts campaigns. One's already been established and is already up and running in Scotland. We need to see that we can come out of this conference today replicating that here across England and Wales. We need to make sure that we protest on the day of the government national spending review, which is on June the 26th, and there'll be activities and we'll be publicising on the websites what we'll be doing around that. And finally, we need to get our act together so we organise the biggest possible demonstration we can when the Tory party conference meets in September. And we are looking forward to the biggest possible loss